Hey guys, Jacob here. This is going to be the recalibration station video that I've promised a few people who follow my channel and a few friends of mine who wanted to see how recalibration works. It's actually very different from Division 1, so I can see why some of you guys have been wondering how it works, because it's completely different, but I'll get right into it and show you guys. When you go to your base of ops, she should be right here next to the crafting vendor if you guys do not know where she's at. And when you go to push X on her, you will see it's completely different from Division 1. It's no longer a machine that does it, it's a bench that you go up and a person does it. But first I'll go into the weapons. You can see this is the FAL SA58. It has strained, extra, and overlap on it. And you can see it requires 5 or less firearms. So if you have 6, you will not unlock strained, which is probably one of my favorite talents. I'd love to have it on an SMG, but it's currently on these FAL. And you can see extra has 20% magazine capacity, and overlap, which is the holster talent. And when you guys go to change this, when you click on it, you'll be able to change all 4 of these, including the health damage. And you can see this goes between every single assault rifle, so you can flip this out. Say you find an assault rifle that has, say, 30, and you want to change on it, you can actually roll that talent to that, and it'll be on the weapon. Or something like strain can be flipped for something like sadist, fast hands, preservation, measured, or breadbasket. And you can see all these have different requirements. Like this requires 5 or more defense, and this one right here, which is strained, requires 5 or less firearms. So you can flip those if you really want to, but I think strained is actually probably one of the best AR talents in the game, besides something like measured, which is pretty awesome at the moment as well. And you could change like extra for something like accurate, which is accuracy, stable, which is stability, jazz hands, which is reload speed, and my favorite, Allegro, which gives you 10% rate of fire. So I think for me personally, if you have the 60 round magazine like I do on the or the SA58 or the AK, you could get rid of the Allegro and throw on something like the or some extra, throw on Allegro, so you get that 10% rate of fire bonus. As the holster talent, you can see this thing like transmission can be flipped, double duty, recharged. You know, all these are pretty cool. This one is pretty awesome for me. While equipped, this weapon is increased throwing distance by 10%. I'm not sure if that's for grenades or if that's just for skills. So if this works on grenades, which I've been trying to figure out, this is pretty awesome because you can just chuck grenades like crazy. Greased while holstered, weapon speed is increased by 10%, so that's pretty nice as well. So you can flip your weapons really fast if you have to reload. So those are 2 of my favorites at the moment. Now if you go to something like the LMG, you could here's the talent Frenzy and Unhinged, which I think are 2 of the best weapon talents at the moment that I found on LMGs. But this one requires 4 or less, so you're gonna need 4 defense to get this, to get that extra weapon damage. And you can see it's 35% for the rate of fire and 35% for the damage. So when you reload from empty, you get 35% damage and 35% rate of fire. Unhinged as well, you receive 25% weapon damage at the cost of negative 35% weapon handling. So that's really cool as well. I have it on both of these. And optimal range can be flipped out like for Allegro, which is on both these as well, because these are the only LMGs I have at the moment. So I'll probably flip these out so I can have a little bit faster rate of fire on the LMGs. So especially on the MG5, since the RPM is 800, so you get the RPM up a little bit more. Now this is the holster talent. As you see, I only have 2 on here. You can flip this out with Zen and transmission if you want. And now for the gear, which I'll cover as well. This is the Gilgard Armadillo Vest. And you'll see on the right, you get the brand set 1 out of 3. The attributes, which is the blue is the defense, and the red are the firearms. So when you go to change these, I'll use armor first. You can flip these out for something like health, which you can 6,000, 9,000, all these, or you can flip them for more bonus armor, but I don't have any armor on here on these that much. So if you could flip it out for 10,000 health if you want more health instead of armor, or the headshot damage can be increased for like 13% headshot damage, or increase your weapon damage, even your crit chance as well. Now the crit damage, which is 16%, can be flipped, if I remember correctly, for weapon damage as well, and you could change it as well for even more crit damage if you can get it. Now restorative is the health on kill, can be flipped for something like hardened, or if you go to something like the Sokolov of Concerned Vest, which I will use, actually I'll use this piece actually. You can see these are all firearms: crit damage, headshot damage, weapon damage, and berserk. So these can all be flipped as well for crit damage or higher crit damage and crit chance if you just want to flip them. So if you don't want headshot damage, you can flip it for crit chance instead. The weapon damage can be changed as well for crit chance, pretty much everything else if you want higher. Berserk, which I think is probably the best I guess, gear pieces in the moment, the best talent, because all it requires is a shotgun, SMG, or assault rifle, and Unbreakable, which is pretty nice as well. This one just requires no active stats affecting armor kits. So I have that on a few. Unstoppable Force, that requires 7 out of 7 armor, so you can see I have that one. 7 or more, you have that one as well. Killing an enemy grants 2% of weapon damage for every 1,000 or 10,000 max armor, my bad. So I have that on both of them. Another side note too, make sure you guys keep some of your vests. Like you can see, I have a few of these that have Unbreakable and Berserk on them. That's so when you hit tier 5, you'll be able to flip those talents over to your higher tier weapons and your gear. So same goes for weapons and gear. You can flip the talents over from like a 450 to say like a 490 or 500, depending on how high it is. I'm not 100% sure on how high the gear score is going to go at the moment, but just remember that. Now for, say you want more armor, I suggest you find something like this guy right here. You can see its health, crit damage, skill power, and weapon damage as well. Or if you go to something like the Mercom Industries one, you have health on it. It can be changed for something like more health. Or you could put bonus armor as well and get that armor up so you won't be hit as hard. The skill power can also be changed for higher skill power. So if you want 1,000, you can flip this out, which is actually better. And same goes for the talents as well. Now the next thing on the list I'm going to cover are the sidearms. I currently don't have anything that you can flip out for sidearms, so I can't really show those, but exotics as well, you cannot change those talents because they're stuck on the weapon. And if you go to something like the holster or the backpack, I'll use the backpack first as an example. I'll use this one right here. The bonus armor, like I said, can be upgraded, so it can be like 7,000 instead of 3,000. The crit damage can be upgraded to like 9% crit damage, and the crit chance can be upgraded if you have a higher crit chance, or if you want more weapon damage. And also the talents, like say Restorative, can be changed, and on this you actually get 2. So if you don't want Restorative, you can change it for something like hard hitting for damage to elites, or you could change it for something like self-adjusting to get that 20% armor generation, which I think is really nice with the vital. So you get the health increased and you get the 25 or 20% armor regeneration as well. So all these can be flipped. Like I said, if you want higher skill power, you can change these and get the skill power up. Same goes for armor. So if you want more armor, you could change them. And if you want weapon damage or crit chance, stuff like that, you can change those as well. Now I'll go to the main piece, which is what I was going to cover. If you look on the left there, you will see that I have 5, 7, and 2. And 7 is for your armor, 5 is for your firearms, and 2 is for your electronics. And all those are the little logos there as well. So, like I said earlier, all these require a certain amount of something to unlock the talents. Like Frenzy is not unlocked because I don't have 4 defensive, and I have 7 instead, since it's a high defense build for mostly PvE. This is just use a build as an example as well, so you guys can kind of just use base off of this how the stuff works. You can see some of these are locked or basically unlocked, and some of them are locked. Going through some of them, like all these are pretty much unlocked, but some of the ones, like for example Preservation, does require 5 or more, so I have 7, so that one gets up there as well. Measured doesn't require anything, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure what measured you have to unlock that. I don't think you have to have anything. Allegro, and you can see Grease is on there as well since it's holstered. Unwavering, you have to have 4 or less, so that's how that works as well. So you basically have to have a certain amount of something to unlock something. So like Ranger, this is for electronics, you have to have 4 or less, so you have 2. This one unlocks for the 5-meter UR from a target, grants 2% weapon damage, and that one unlocks as well. This is what I currently use at the moment. This one is unlocked, and you can see Unhinged and Allegro on here as well. So some of these do require, like Vindicative requires 4 or less to unlock that one as well, or Premeditated requires 4 or less. So Premeditated is actually probably one of the best shotgun talents in the game if you can get your hands on it. But that's going to be about it, guys, for I guess the overview on how the recalibration system works and how you guys can change your stats. To put it in a more simple way, you're just going to, if you want more armor, use something like this, which gives you the attributes for hazard protection, health on kill. If you want more firearms, use something like this, which has damage to elites, crit chance, and it can be flipped for like weapon damage and stuff like that. Or if I guess you want like a bit of a mix, you can use like the Sokolov piece here and have a little bit of firearms like damage to elites, health on kill, and hazard protection, which is great for PvE. And you can also change all your bonus talents as well, like empowered, restorative. All those can be flipped, but just remember, if you do change those, it will destroy that piece and gun as well. So say you want to take strained off and throw it on like this ACR, this FAL is gone completely. It destroys it. All those other talents are gone. So just remember that. So if you have 2 really good guns, like say you have 2 CTARs like right here, and you want to get fast hands on this CTAR, but you really want to keep your other one, it's gone. It's completely gone. It gets destroyed, and you can no longer have that gun. So be really careful with your talents and what talents you want on certain weapons. So if it's, say, oh, I want, Allegro on my Vector, but I have it on my really good measured and Allegro MPX. I don't want to destroy it. I would suggest you keep your MPX if you really like that weapon that much and you don't want to destroy it, and find another weapon that's the same level as you, or just any weapon that has Allegro on it, and just roll it on there. Then you'll have it on that talent, and you won't have to destroy your really good gun. You can also not reroll talents from crafting weapons, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong unless they changed it when this video is uploaded, depending on how much maintenance they have and stuff like that, or in major updates. So if you're watching this video at an older time, then that could be changed in the future. But at the moment, you cannot change talents from the other weapons or recalibrate them at all. But that's going to be about it, guys. Thank you all for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one.
Devil's Cry, huh? Let's hear what that sounds like! Don't you dare say it! Jackpot!